Hello people, let's continue our discussion on marathon series. Now it is AS9 car revision, which is revenue recognition. Okay, sir, if I study this at inter level, same thing will come in final level also, sir? No, sir. In final level, AS7 and AS9 has been merged and Ind AS 115 is formed. That is more descriptive, much better standard compared to all this. There were some little bit hiccups here and there, which is covered in Ind AS. So some of it, what you're going to study will come at final level, but mostly you're going to be learning everything new. Okay. All right. Now people, AS9 talks about revenue recognition. Name itself is saying revenue recognition. How much revenue you should book, when you should book is the scope of AS9. Sir, AS7 also told the same. No. AS7 also talked about revenue recognition, but only for construction contracts. For others, which is the governing standard, accounting standard 9. The scope of AS9 is very simple, 5 components. AS9 talks about revenue recognition of 5 elements. If you are a seller of goods, how you should recognize revenue. If you are a provider of service, how to recognize the revenue. And then IDR, interest, dividend, royalty. Goods, service, interest, dividend, royalty. These are the 5 areas for which AS9 is giving you the guidance. That's all. With this in mind, can we start? Okay. Now, first aspect. What is the first aspect of goods? When the revenue relating to the goods should be recognized. For that, they have given a condition, certain conditions. So, should we remember the conditions, sir? Sir, straightforward questions are pretty rare in exam. They will not say. Usually, they will give you some, if they give you case study and if they say analyze, then you will have to quote the provisions and conditions. There you have to remember. If they give you numerical questions, you can just directly solve. Okay, so rare. I could say like the provisions coming in are pretty less. Usually they ask some numerical attached to it, but if you don't want to take a chance, it's always good to know everything. That's my funda. All right, revenue relating to the goods. You can recognize revenue relating to the goods when performance obligation is satisfied, when PO is satisfied. So when can you say performance obligation is satisfied? You can say PO is satisfied when certain conditions get satisfied. 1. Goods is delivered to goods. Okay, no? Goods are delivered to the buyer for a price. Goods is transferred to the buyer for a price. I'll tell you the meaning of it. First, I'll call out the condition. Or risk and reward has been transferred to the buyer. That is 1. And seller has no effective control over the goods and there is no uncertainty exists in collecting the money. So if all these are satisfied, this is one condition, okay? This 1 or 2. And this is and condition, meaning this and this has to be compulsorily satisfied. Among 1 and 2, one of the things should be satisfied. So when these comes into picture or these are satisfied, we say performance obligation is satisfied and you can go ahead and book the revenue. Okay. First condition. What is the first condition? Goods is transferred to the buyer for a price. It's very simple. Your first condition is transferred when the delivery of the goods has been given to the buyer. Will anybody sell the goods at free of cost or there will be a price for it? That's what the first condition is trying to say. You have delivered the goods to the buyer and how much money you will collect is also clearly determined. There is no confusion in that. That is condition number 1. Or second one, if this is not satisfied, look at the second one. Risk and reward is transferred to the buyer. Now people, I have a goods. I wanted to deliver it to the customer. Customer is saying, today no, Vastu not good. I will take it after 1 week. I will take delivery after 1 week. His reasons, everybody has their own reasons, no? Customer is saying, I will take the delivery after 1 week. I told the customer, boss, I am ready to give the delivery today. But you are saying I will take after 1 week. I am not responsible for the goods. I will store it, but I am not responsible. So what have I done? Risk of the goods and the reward of the goods I have already transferred to the buyer. Is it with me or I have given it to the buyer? So either this or this has to be satisfied. One of these two. Okay, G. Second one, seller has no effective control over the goods. Now, Now, let's say I am a mobile dealer. Okay, I sold a mobile. What's your name, ma? Oh, too big. Lakshmi will call. Yeah, Lakshmi, Lakshmi's money only, no? Yeah, okay. Excuse me. Let's say I'm a mobile dealer. I've sold a mobile to Lakshmi. I've given that mobile to her. Whichever, which phone you like, ma? iPhone 18, which is the latest one running? 17, 17 you like, yeah, she's like, iPhone, Samsung. Okay, Samsung, she wants a flip phone, okay. Alright, so Samsung phone, I've sold it to Lakshmi. Okay. Fine, money, she told, where am I running, where are you running? I will give you after 1 month. She told, give the phone today, I will give you the money after 1 month. I said, okay, fine, no problem. I have seen her. Now she's like, okay, fine, pass to good, so I'll give it to you. I said, okay. Now, people, I have given the phone to Lakshmi. Every day I'm calling her, don't use mobile for more than 1 hour. Don't use mobile for more than 1 hour. Please don't install Instagram and all. Delete it. Delete it. Okay, don't buy Airtel SIM. Buy only Jio, Dandanadan SIM. Like that going on, I'm calling her and giving restrictions. Can I do that? No, sir. That means essentially, if I keep doing that, you tell me, have I really transferred the risk and reward to her? No. That is what condition number 3 indirectly is an extension. Seller should have no effective control over the goods transfer. Once I've transferred the phone to her, phone is whose responsibility now? Her responsibility. She can use it for 1 hour also, 24 hours also, that is her problem. Yes or no? So I should not put any restriction in the usage or on the goods is what condition number 3 is trying to say. Once given, that's it. The way the buyer wants to use it, they should have that freedom and flexibility to use it. That's what we mean by seller has no effective control over the goods transferred. Okay, Ji. Last condition is there should not be any uncertainty in collection. Our Lakshmi should not show the signs of Vijay Mallya. Because has she paid the money or she has not yet paid? She told she's selling, she'll pay after 1 month. Now people, I got to know that she has put Chuna, Goinda to 4 vendors. She has bought 4 phones. Just an example, don't take it to heart. Yeah, she's bought phone from 4 different people and has she paid them or Goinda? If I get to know that she's putting Goinda, then I cannot recognize revenue. That is what condition number 4 is saying. I should have a reasonable assurance that I will collect the money from the buyer. That's what it is. That's the 4th condition. There is no uncertainty in the collection of sale consideration. Easy. Sir, suppose there is uncertainty, what you will do? Don't recognize revenue. Till the time that uncertainty gets cleared, you cannot book the revenue. We are not saying money should be received. No. We are not saying money should be received. What are we saying here in 4th condition? We should have a reasonable assurance. We should be reasonably confident that we will receive the money from the buyer. When we have that confidence, book revenue. If you have no confidence, do not book the revenue. So the day all these are satisfied, we say performance obligation is satisfied, which enables us to book the revenue relating to the goods. Any confusion? Any confusion? Nope. All right. Sir, if there is trade discount, what you do? What to do? You know this already. What should we do for trade discount? Sir, suppose I sold the goods for 7,80,000 and there is a trade discount of 5%. Will I recognize the revenue at 780 or 780 less 5%? I will reduce the trade discount and I will recognize the revenue only at 7,41,000. Sir, what is trade discount, sir? Discount given at the time of purchase sale, we call it as trade discount. Any discount which is given right at the time of purchasing or right at the time of selling, that we refer to as what, sir? Trade discount. So eliminate that trade discount and the net amount only you recognize as revenue. Sir, what about cash discount? Cash discount, you recognize it separately. You book it separately. So cash discount affects revenue recognition or it does not affect? It does not affect. Okay. Yes, sir, people. Because cash discount is basically given so that you collect the payment early. Suppose I've sold this goods under 3 months credit. I've sold this goods under how many months credit? 3 months credit. I told my buyer, if you pay me within 1 month, I will give you 10% extra discount. I will give you 10% extra discount. Okay, Ji. Now this 10% extra what I am giving in, right? What is the thought process behind this? What is the reason for this? So that instead of collecting the money within 3 months, my intention is to collect the money within 1 month. So such a discount we refer to as what? Cash discount. For cash discount, you pass the entry separately. It will not affect the revenue. Revenue will still get booked at what amount? 7,41,000. Cash discount, you book it as a separate expense in your P&L account. And some of you who have our chart book, there was a small error in that chart book. If those of you who have had that chart book, update this. This is the revised content. Okay, I've told in the class, but I'm saying YouTube audience, if at all you, anyone, if you purchase, just make that small correction in there. This is the exact words. Okay, this is for the revenue relating to the goods. Goods over next what? Service. Revenue relating to service. Same lines. What was the condition for goods? Tell me. You'll recognize revenue on goods when performance obligation is satisfied. When can you say performance obligation is satisfied? Goods are transferred to the buyer for a price. And then, or risk and reward transferred. And then, and third condition, seller has no effective control over the goods, no uncertainty exists. Same condition, you put it in service viewpoint now. You'll recognize the revenue relating to service when the service is performed. Service is performed. Service consideration should be fixed. Here they said now, goods should be transferred for the buyer for a price. Here service consideration should be fixed and there should not be any uncertainty in collecting the amount. Now here what we are giving you, am I selling you any product or I'm giving you a service? Service. So I can recognize the revenue when service is performed, and by giving service, how much money I will collect should be known, and I should have a reasonable confidence that I will collect the money from you guys. So if all are satisfied, you can go ahead and book the revenue relating to service. Sir, for booking the service, you can go for one of the two methods. Not a choice, but you will select one of the two methods. Same as construction contractor method. What is that? Percentage method or completed method. You'll either go for percentage method or completed method. Percentage method means if 30% of the work is complete, then you can recognize the service revenue to the extent of 30%. 70% complete means 70% service revenue you can recognize. Completed contract method, you will recognize the revenue when the contract is fully completed here. Okay. So when to go for this, when to go for that. So if a contract has many single acts, or rather if contract has many acts, then you will go for which method? Percentage completion method or proportionate method. If a contract has only a single act, if the contract is only a single act, then you will go for which method? Completed contract method. So I didn't understand. Okay. Suppose I am teaching you advanced accounting regular course. Forget about marathon. Let's assume that I am teaching you advanced accounting a regular course. Roughly there are around 30 topics. Let's assume in advanced accounting. Okay now. Sir, I completed accounting standard 14. Now, due to some reason, I had to get back to Bangalore. I had to discontinue the teaching. Just an example. I'll not do it. Just saying. Due to some personal emergency, I had to discontinue class. I had to go back to Bangalore. I have taught you how much? One standard I have taught you, which is AS. One topic I have taught you, which is AS 14. Okay. Now people, this advanced accounting ka syllabus is one act or many acts? Many acts, right? Now you visualize. Now AS 14 is completed. Now the next faculty who comes to handle you, will they teach you AS 14 again or they will continue? AS 14 is already done. They will do the remaining. Yes or no? That we say the contract has what? One act or more than one act? More than one act. Each topic is a separate act. If I have completed one topic today, that topic related revenue I can book. If I have completed AS 14 revenue I can book. Let's say I get paid 30,000 for teaching advanced accounting. 30,000 for teaching, and you are laughing. Yes, that much only. Okay, I get paid how much, sir? 30,000 for advanced accounting. How much for how many topics? 30 topics. That means for one topic, how much? 1,000. So if AS 14 is completed, today, how much revenue I can book in my books? 1,000. That way. If you are doing that, we say you are following what method? Percentage completion method. Because this particular contract does not have one act. It has many acts. Then you will go for this. Suppose contract has only one act. Contract has only one act. Like let's say I called for 1 day accounting standard seminar. I called you for what? 1 day accounting standard seminar. When I call you for a seminar, What is your intention? What is your thought process? I want the summary of all the accounting standards. Now there are many acts or only one act? Only one act. When I conduct the seminar only, I can book the revenue because it has only how many acts? Only one act. That's a distinction. Okay, people? Now means how will you book revenue, sir? I will go for percentage method if at all I am going for revenue recognition in my books because each is a separate act. Correct. Sir, marathon, sir. Marathon, I am not getting money only. Okay, yeah, fine. So goods over, service over. Then IDR. What is IDR? Interest or dividend or royalty. Sir, interest is booked on an accrual basis or on a time basis. Interest revenue is booked on a time basis. Like, let's say I have invested in some company ka debenture. I have invested in some company ka debentures. January month is over. January month is over. So January month interest I can book. Because interest recognition is always on what basis? Time basis. If 1 month is past means 1 month ka interest revenue you can book in your books. Whether you have received it or not received it is irrelevant because we do the accounting on what basis? Accrual basis. So interest ka accounting is always on time basis. If 3 months is past, then 3 months ka interest revenue you can book. So interest is expense, no sir? No. If you are an investor, if I am investing in some other company ka debenture, I will pay interest or get interest? Get interest. So interest can also be a revenue. Possible, huh? Alright, I over D. D for dividend. Sir, dividend, AS9 says, dividend should be recognized as revenue when the right to receive the dividend gets established. Dividend can be recognized when right to receive the dividend gets established. So what is that, sir? Simply when the other company declares it. When the other, suppose I have invested in, let us say, Reliance ka shares. I have purchased equity shares of Reliance. Let's say Reliance, no, in the last 10 years, they have declared a dividend of 10%. In the last 10 years, their average dividend, example, I don't know how much they paid exactly. Okay, last 10 years, how much have they paid? 10%. So can I say this year also they will declare 10% and book off dividend as a revenue? Dividend, you can recognize the revenue when Reliance declares that dividend in their AGM. Only when they declare it, I have a right to receive it. If the company does not declare, can I write an email to them, give me dividend? They will say, Poda day. Yes or no? Because dividend is compulsory or choice? Choice. So only when the other company declares it, you can book it as revenue in your books. Till if they don't declare it, you cannot book it. That's what we mean by right to receive the dividend gets established. I over, D over. Last is what? Royalty. Royalty means, sir, suppose I wrote a book, how to clear CA examination with rank. Okay, I wrote a book. All right. Now, people, I may have technical expertise to fill the content. I may write a book, correct? But do I have expertise in binding, marketing, publishing, printing, all this? No, right? That is not my business. See, authors, no, they will write the book. They are good storytellers. They can fill the content, but they may not be good at the publishing the book, printing the book, marketing and all that. Usually they don't like to do all that stuff. Even here also, I don't like to do any of the operations part of it. So if you ask me when is your next batch, I will say I don't know. Ask the team. I don't like to do any of the operations part. I like to just teach and go. That's my thing. And that's the only involvement I like to have. Beyond that, I don't like to have any sort of other involvements with the company. I like my personal time. Anyways, I think, where did I go there? Royalty. Now coming back to the example, I wrote a book. Now, sir, one publishing house came to me and said, we will publish your book. We will publish your book. We will print it. We will sell it. I told, what's in it for me? They told, for every book sold, we will give you 10 rupees. For every book sold, we will give you 10 rupees. So I'm receiving something. That we call it as what, sir? Royalty. Because they are using my content and earning some money. They are using my content because book who wrote? Me. But they are using that and earning money. I will get a portion in that. Since they are using my resources, my capability, I am getting compensated something. That compensation only, we call it as what, sir? Royalty. So that means royalty for me is an income. It's a revenue for me. So when should you recognize that royalty? Royalty recognition is always based on the agreement. Agreement will tell how you will get royalty based on that. Because sometimes what royalty can be upfront. Publisher may say, I will give you 5 lakh. I will give you 5 lakh. After that, don't ask me anything. I will print it, I will sell it, I will make how much ever money I want. I will simply get how much? 5 lakh. That could be one arrangement. Or publisher may say, for each book sold, I will give you 10 rupees. Or agreement could say, for each book printed, not sold, each book printed, I will give you 5 rupees. So you can make agreements in many fashion. That's the reason royalty or revenue recognition is always based on the agreement. Read the agreement and accordingly recognize the revenue. Okay, now, so suppose agreement says, I will receive royalty on sales. I will receive royalty on sales. On the agreement date, can I recognize revenue? No. Because what is the agreement telling? I will receive royalty when the books gets sold. So moment books get sold, that time I will recognize the revenue. How much revenue? 10 rupees per book. If book is not got sold means I will not recognize revenue. So it is entirely influenced by what? Agreement. That's all. Alright. Sir, one of the criteria for revenue recognition is there should not be any uncertainty in collection. If uncertainty is there means at the time of sale, if you have any uncertainty in collection, you should not recognize revenue. Till the time that uncertainty picture is cleared, till you get that confidence, you should not recognize revenue. Sir, suppose at the time of selling the goods, we were confident that we will get the money. Because normally you make what? Cash sale or credit sales? Credit sale. Suppose I have sold goods to one of the buyer for 3 months credit. I have sold goods to one of the customer for what credit? 3 months credit. At the time of sale, I was pretty confident customer will pay. Because this is not the first time I've done the transaction. I have transacted with that customer since many years and I have always received the money. So confidence at the time of sale is not there or there? There. After 1 month, I got to know that the customer is slowly going bankrupt. His financial position, his company position is not good. So what is this scenario? At the time of sale, uncertainty was there or not there? Uncertainty came when? After sale. So at the time of sale, uncertainty was not there. It came later. If it comes later, then you make provision. Revenue is not affected. You know, you make provision for doubtful debts. No, that's what we're talking about here. At the time of sale itself, if you have uncertainty, don't even recognize sales. If it comes later, then you can make provision for doubtful debts or provision for bad debts or bad debts itself, as you want to call it. That's one. All right. Then some small chintu pintu concepts. Major delivery or inspection. Sometimes what happens, no sir, when you sell a sophisticated asset and all, customer will say, you send the goods, I will inspect it, then only I will accept it. What does the customer say? First I will check the goods, then only I will give thumbs up. That is what we mean by major delivery or inspection. Okay. So in these cases, AS9 says, when you deliver the goods to the customer, don't recognize revenue. Because customer has to give what? Thumbs up. So you wait till the thumbs up time. Only when the customer or inspection is complete, only then you can recognize the revenue. Is that fine with you? That again question will tell, whether inspection is there or not there. If this is not there, apply your normal rule. You had that 4 conditions, no? Apply that and recognize revenue. But if this inspection word is there, means you will recognize the revenue only when the inspection is complete. And this is only for the major goods, so small and all. For major goods, even like you recognize the revenue only when the delivery is completed. What is major? Again, you'll have to analyze from the case to case basis. Consignment sale. Consignment sales means what? Am I selling the goods directly to the customer or my agent is saying? We appoint somebody called consignee. Consignee is our agent. So in consignment arrangement, I am the consignor. I am the owner of the goods. I sent the goods to whom? Consignee. And my consignee will sell the goods to the customer. When should I recognize the revenue? When I send the goods to consignee or when consignee sells it to the customer? Only when the consignee sells the goods to the customer, you should recognize the revenue. Because you can't sell the goods to your agent. Agent is simply helping you to make the sale. So when you send the goods to your agent, you cannot book revenue. Only when that agent sells it to the final customer, you can recognize the revenue as such. Sir, all these what we have written now, this is a popular type of question which the exam paper setter picks. They'll give you 4-5 case studies, small one-liner ones, which will be usually based on this. You will see, I'll show you one. I think we have time, we can take 1 or 2 questions. Okay, next is goods sold on approval basis. Goods sold on approval basis means what? So normally if you are a new player, if you have newly entered the market, suppose I used to give this example, I have manufactured a pen. I called it as S pen, Sandesh pen. Okay, S pen. I manufactured and I went to few customers, few people and said, wonderful pen, please buy. Wonderful pen, please buy. They looked at me like this from top to bottom and said, oh, nobody will buy your pen, please go. Now I have already manufactured. I want to sell it. So I told that vendor, use this pen for few days. Use this pen for 7 days. Use this pen for 7 days. Like it, you buy it. Otherwise, return it. Such an arrangement, we call it as what? Goods sold on approval basis. Okay. So now I have given this pen to a person there, right? I gave him how much timeline? 7 days. Today, when I give this goods, when I send to this pen, can I recognize revenue? No, you can recognize revenue when 3 conditions get satisfied. One of the 3. What is that? When the time has got lapsed. How much time I gave? 7 days. After 7 days, automatically I can book it as a sale because time has got lapsed. Or buyer's acceptance. Let's say on the 2nd day, that particular customer called me up and said, it is actually wonderful. I would like to buy. On which day? 2nd day. So that means on 2nd day, you can book it as a sale. 3rd one, buyer does any action amounting to sale. He took my pen, he gave it to his daughter, daughter broke the nib. This nib broken, pen damaged. Now I'll take it back. No. So because buyer has done any action which amounts to sale. One of the 3 conditions should be there for us to book it as a sale. Okay, G. Usually time lapsed is what they test. This criteria they will test in exam. Other 2 it is a little subjective. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Okay, if you make COD sale, COD means cash on delivery sale, like our Amazon, Flipkart and all, it's a popular arrangement, right? In that case, when should we book the revenue? If you make cash on delivery sale, company can recognize the revenue only when the cash is collected, either directly by the company or by its agent. Because usually, company employees will not go to customer house and collect money. We will appoint some collection agents. So only when the cash is collected by the company or its agent, we can recognize the revenue. Till then, you cannot recognize it as a revenue. Yes, people? Okay, this is also popular adjustment. Delivery delayed at buyer's request. Sir, I have goods. I've sold it to customer. I want to deliver the goods. I am ready to deliver the goods. But customer is saying, I will take it after 1 month. I will take delivery after 1 month. I asked why. Customer is saying space shortage. Space shortage. I don't have space in my factory. So you keep it. I will take it after 1 month. Okay. So what is this scenario? Delivery. Have I delivered or delivery is getting delayed? Due to my fault or customer's request? Customer's request. So now when should I recognize the revenue? Today or after 1 month? Because I will give delivery only after 1 month. Yes. If a delivery is delayed at customer's request, there are some conditions for it. I used to call this is a CA final conditions which I have brought in. It's there in AS9 also, but you don't have to take too much load. All this ignore for the time being. In exam, straight away you write recognize the revenue. Recognize the revenue when? Today, not after 1 month. Today. That is good enough. But there are some conditions for it which we used to remember it as SIPUD. But anyways, in the interest of time, that's not required. In one-liner answer for this is recognize the revenue today itself, not after 1 month. Insurance claim. Insurance claim. Sir, sometimes what happens, especially if you are in logistics industry and all, you frequently send the goods, you frequently deliver the goods to many places. There is a possibility that some goods may be lost, some goods may get damaged. All that may be part and parcel of your operations. Do you think business will take a chance or they will insure the goods? Insure the goods. So if goods gets damaged, what are we going to receive? Insurance claim. So insurance claim is going out or coming in. So it's a revenue. So you can recognize insurance claim as a revenue when there is no uncertainty in collection. If you have a reasonable confidence that you will recover money from insurance company, the day you get that confidence, that day you recognize the revenue. When will you get the confidence that you will receive the money? Practically, an insurance company accepts your claim. When the goods gets damaged, you send a claim to insurance company. No, claim either they will accept or they will reject. When they accept the claim, they will write a mail usually that your claim has been processed, right? So that is a reasonable assurance that we will collect the money. Maybe within 1 week later or something, the usually money gets credited to your bank account. But when the uncertainty collection, if it is not there, or when the reasonable confidence when it comes, that day you can recognize the revenue. Till then, no. Okay, sale and repurchase agreements. In sale and repurchase agreement, what happens is first you will sell, and later you will buy back the same goods. First you will sell and later you will buy back the same goods. So why will they do that, sir? It's a loan. Sir, suppose A Limited sold goods worth 10 lakh to B Limited and collected the money. It's a cash sale. A Limited sold goods worth how much? 10 lakh to B Limited, and it's a cash sale. So money is already collected. Now we have made an agreement. What agreement? After 1 year, A will buy back the same goods. A will buy back the same goods for 10 lakh or rather 11 lakh. A will purchase the same goods by paying how much? 11. This arrangement we call it as sale/repurchase agreements. Now honestly, you tell me, first of all, why will they do this? Why will anybody do this? If A Limited needs money, no, they can use goods as a basis to recover the money. Like here, check. When A Limited sold the goods, how much money they got? 10 lakh, right? But they are paying this 11 lakh today or after 1 year? After 1 year, they are repurchasing, means they will make the payment only after 1 year. That means A Limited, no, is using goods as a basis to raise money. They really don't want to sell the goods. All they need is money. So you can approach bank, no sir. A Limited has already taken enough money from bank. Bank is saying no more loan for you. That means this arrangements can be looked at to raise the money. Yes, sir, people. What AS9 says is, this is not really a sale. It's what arrangement? It's a finance arrangement. It's a loan arrangement. So you cannot book it as a sale. You book it as a loan only, because in reality, this is what arrangement? Loan arrangement, because that's what happens in loan. No, if you take 10 lakh loan, after 1 year, you will repay 10 only, or you will repay more. That's the reason you are not paying 10, you are paying how much? 11. So it's a loan arrangement. So book it as loan. So you cannot recognize the revenue in this aspect. Done. Okay, the last concept is principal versus agent wala drama. What is this? Sir, if you are a principal, all good there, na? Once I try if it comes pa. Nothing. Okay. All right. The last concept is principal versus agent wala drama. What is this? Sir, if you are a principal, you will always recognize the revenue at gross amount. If you are a principal, you will always recognize the revenue at gross amount. If you are an agent, you will recognize the revenue at net amount. Principal means gross amount, agent means net amount. What does that mean? Okay, let's take this example. Sir, Bahubali Limited is there. An airline company. An airline company called Bahubali Limited. Then there is Katappa. Bahubali Limited sold airline tickets worth 4,000 to Katappa. And Katappa will sell this particular tickets to customer. That's the arrangement. Bahubali will sell it to Katappa. Katappa will sell it to customers. Yes, sir. Now I'll give you this particular extra scenario. Look at this scenario. Bahubali will sell it to Katappa for what price? 4,000. But Katappa will sell it to customer for what price? 5,000. In this process, Katappa earns some money. How much money? Payment is 4,000. Receipt is 5,000. So how much extra? 1,000. Yes, sir. Now, what is the significance of this principal agent is, if in this arrangement, if Katappa is a principal, How much did Kattappa sell the tickets for to the customer? If Kattappa is a principal, Kattappa will book revenue at 5,000. He'll book revenue in his books for 5,000. But suppose if you can prove Kattappa is an agent, Kattappa is a agent, then you will recognize the revenue at net amount. Net amount means commission. Net amount means commission. How much is the commission for Kattappa here? Purchase for 4,000, sale for 5,000. So how much is commission? 1,000. If Kattappa is an agent, revenue will be booked only to the extent of 1,000. This is the implication or the effect of principal versus agent. Got it? Yes, sir. Sir, how do we find whether he is a principal or agent? How to find out whether Kattappa is a principal or agent? Sir, in one liner, there are some conditions for it. But if I have to say in one liner, if Kattappa is taking a risk, if Kattappa is taking risk and reward, if Kattappa is bearing risk and reward, then Kattappa is a principal. If Kattappa is not taking risk, he is simply an agent. Easy. If he is taking risk, he is a principal. Not taking risk means agent. So how will we know that? Now, let's say Kattappa told the airline company Bahubali, I will purchase the tickets for how much value? 4,000. After that, it is my headache. Kattappa is telling Bahubali Limited, I will purchase the ticket for how much value? 4,000. After that, whether I sell it to the customer or don't sell it to the customer, I will still pay you how much? 4,000. This is what Kattappa is telling the airline. It means Kattappa is not taking risk here or they are taking risk. They are taking risk. Because whether Kattappa makes the sale to the customer or not, he still has to pay how much to Bahubali? So Kattappa is taking a risk. So in that case, Kattappa becomes what? Principal. Revenue will get recognized at what? The total sale price, which is what? 5,000. Got it? Suppose Kattappa tells Bahubali Limited, if I sell the goods to the customer, I will make the payment. If I sell the ticket to the customer, I will make the payment to you. If I am not able to sell, I will give the tickets back to you. I will return the tickets back to you. Now you tell me Kattappa is taking risk or not taking risk? Not taking risk. In that case, Kattappa becomes what? Agent. Now, if you are an agent, you will recognize the revenue at full amount or commission amount. So commission is how much? 1,000. That's how to identify. Yes, sir, people. Which the question will give a clarity whether they are taking risk or not. Based on that, you can identify. Yes, people, I think with this, all the concepts we have done. This is about interest. This is okay, not required. Now, this one. This sort of question is quite popular from this topic. So, let's review them once. From the following information of the company, you simply need to find out how much total revenue you will recognize for the current year ended 31st March 2023. 4 cases they have given. It could be 3, 4, 5, whatever. Here it is 4. Check this. Goods of 2 lakh sold to Den Limited. This company BS Products, they have sold goods how much to Den? 2 lakh. On which date? 20th March. But at the request of the buyer, the goods were delivered on 10th April. Sir, our current year is ending on 31st March 2023. Delivery happened in current year or 10th April? 10th April means current year or next year? Next year. Goods are delivered only in the next year. My fault or buyer's request? Buyer's request. What did I say? If delivery is delayed at buyer's request, should you push the revenue or recognize revenue? So total 2 lakh revenue will be recognized when? Next year or current year only? Current year only you will book total revenue of 2 lakh. Got it? Next one. On 15th January 2023, goods of 3 lakh were sent on consignment basis. So this is consignment concept. What is the concept? You will recognize the revenue only when the goods are sold by the consignee. How much we sent? 3 lakh. Of which 20% of the goods is unsold. Out of 3 lakh, 20% is unsold means how much got sold? 80%. So 80% of the goods our agent has sold. 20% not yet sold. You will recognize revenue for full or only 80%? 80%. So 3 lakh ka 80%. How much is that? 2,40,000 only you will show it as revenue. So what about that 20%? You will show it as closing stock. You will show it as closing stock. Because that is our own stock. It is just that it is not there in our factory. It is there in our agent's factory, but it is our stock only still. So you show that balance as a closing stock. Okay, 4 lakh worth of goods were sold on what basis? Approval basis. 3 conditions. What are those? Time lapse, buyer acceptance, or buyer does any action amounting to sale. Let's see what they've asked. Totally we sent on approval basis 4 lakh. Dates are important here. Which date? 1st December 2022. So first line only I got the answer. I even don't have to even bother reading further. Why? Sir, my year is ending on 31st March. Correct? Right? In fact, here this also. The period of approval is how much? This also I need. 3 months. Period of approval is 3 months. Sir, count. From this day, you count 3 months. How much is it? December, January, February. February only the time will get lapsed. I am in which date? March. So for the current year, the time has got lapsed. So should we have to wait or full revenue? They will give you full goalie. This much sold, approved, and all. But we know in our head that time has totally got lapsed. So here, if you want, just for the sake of it, I'll read. Approval period is 3 months. Buyer has sent approval for how much? Buyer has accepted how much? 75%. No approval or disapproval has been received for the remaining. For 25%, customer is neither accepted nor rejected. But we don't have to worry about that because time has got lapsed. So what should you do? Full 4 lakh, you can recognize it as a revenue as on 31st March. For the current year, this much revenue can be booked. Correct? Okay. Apart from the above, BS Products has sells goods to the dealer also. On a condition that the sale, one of the condition of sale is that interest is payable at 2% per month for the delayed payment. If there is a delay in payment, we will also collect what? Interest. Percentage of interest of recovery is only 10%. We feel we can recover, we will recover interest, but how much? 50,000 on such overdue. But company wants to recognize entire interest receivable as 60,000. Sir, you will calculate interest on delay at what rate? 2% per month. 2% per month. If you calculate that, you are getting how much? 60,000. At 2%, if you are calculating interest, it is coming to 60,000. But company feels max to max, I think we can collect only 50,000. Interest recoverable is how much? How much? 60,000. But company feels we can recover only how much? 50,000. Now the question to you is, you will recognize interest revenue at 60 or 50? 60 or 50? 50. Why? Perfect. Sir, one of the conditions for you to recognize revenue is there should be certainty in collection. You should have a confidence that you will recover. Here we have confidence to recover 60 or only 50? 50. So you will recognize revenue only to the extent of 50. Though the due amount is 60, certainty in collection exists only to the extent of 50. Hence, only that much revenue. That's it. If you add all this, you will get the total amount how much? 8,90,000. That is the total revenue. You will book it in the current year. Can I? Okay, maybe this also I'll take it up. This is a study material question as well as our class notes question. For the year ended 31st March 20x1, KY Enterprise, one company, they've entered into following transaction. On 31st March 20x1, KY supplied 2 machinery to its customer ST. We are machinery dealers. For a machinery dealer, machinery is not PP, rather it is a goods. Both the machinery were accepted on 31st March 20x1. The keyword there is that customer has already accepted. Sir, if customer has accepted means risk and reward we have transferred it to customer. Yes, sir. That means should we have to worry about delivery or not required? Not required, because risk and reward has been transferred. How? Because customer has accepted the asset which next year or current year only. Current year only he has accepted. Machine 1 was a machine that was routinely supplied by KY to many customers, and the installation process is very simple. Machinery 1 has basic installation. Okay. Now, machine 1 was installed on what day? 2nd April. Alright. Machine 2 is more sophisticated or specialized. It requires an installation process which is more complicated and requires significant assistance. So, machinery 2 is a sophisticated machinery. It has complex installation process and we will only do it. And when do you think machinery 2 got installed? Machinery 2 was installed between 2nd and 5th April. Current year ending on what day? 31st March. Installation got completed only on 2nd and 5th April. Details of cost and sales are as follows. Machinery 1 ka sale value is how much? 320. Cost to produce this machinery, how much cost? 160. Are we charging anything as installation fees for machinery 1? No. Same data for machinery 2 they have given, but since machinery 2 we are charging extra. How much extra? As what? Installation. Now current year, how much revenue you will recognize is what they are asking. What is that? Sir, if you remember, we studied a small concept called inspection installation. Whenever an asset requires an inspection or installation, you will recognize the revenue only after it is inspected or installed. Yes, sir. Correct. But here, check this line. If they had not told anything, right, I would have said, installation has happened in the current year or next year. Both the asset has got inspected or installed only in the next year. So revenue should be booked in the next year. But here there is an overriding line. What is that overriding line? Customer is already accepted by 31st March. No. I mean, installation will it have any value or not much value? Because customer has already accepted the asset in the current year. So indirectly risk and reward is transferred. Usually what happens is customer will only accept the asset after installation. Usually. But here customer is already accepted. That means should we have to wait till the time of installation or not required? Not required. So machinery ka revenue, when will you book? Both the machinery ka revenue, when will you book? Next year or current year? Current year. Yes, sir. So machinery related revenue, you can book it in the current year. How much revenue? 320. How much cost? 160. How much profit? 320 revenue, 160 cost. For machinery 1, the profit is 160. Same drama for machinery 2. How much revenue? 3 lakh. How much cost? 150. So 3 lakh revenue, 150 cost. So how much is profit? For machinery 2, how much is profit? 150. Yes, sir. Even if you don't write profit, it is fine. Even if you just comment on revenue recognition also, it's good enough. Done. Sir, there is one more aspect. Can you tell me that? Installation. Correct? For machinery 1, am I collecting any installation fees? No. So any revenue recognition drama or no drama? No drama. For machinery 2, how much am I collecting? 10,000. This is for what? This 10,000 is for what purpose? It's a service, correct? It's a service. What does the AS9 talk about service? You should recognize revenue. It's not many act. It's only single act. For single act contracts, when will you recognize revenue? When the service is fully completed. Yes, sir. When did machinery 2 ka service gets completed? Current year or between 2nd and 5th? 2nd and 5th of April. April means current year or next year? I mean, this 10,000 installation revenue, when will you recognize? Current year or next year? Next year. Machinery related goods revenue, you can recognize current year. Why? Because it is accepted. But installation service revenue, you will only recognize when the installation is complete. It got completed when? Current year or next year? Next year. That's all this is fun. Okay. Can one of you just call the person there? I think the screen is off. One of you, please. There's a lady there. You can just call her. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You keep talking. I'll just keep doing this. Manasa, right? Manasa's question is, sir, will installation process being complex or simple make a difference? In AS9 context, it will not. In CA inter-syllabus wise, it will not. In CA final may it will. Funda is different. Thought process is different. Okay. So if the installation is complex, right, then CA final says it's a separate act. You should do something there. There's some allocations and all, we do it. Next level we will take it. But here we don't have to worry about it. Here anyway we have not charged. You look at the charged amount. If we are collecting the revenue for it, book it. Here anyway machinery 1 ka revenue is how much? 0. You're not. If you had some money, okay, suppose we are collecting 1,000 rupees here. Okay. Then since the word is saying it's a simple revenue, all right, you can take that call and recognize the revenue there. Or you can also take a separate stand that this 1,000 is specifically charged for what? installation, and installation is not happening in current year, it is happening in next year, and book it next year also. So it becomes a subjective call there. My view is you should recognize revenue when it is installed, which is what, next year. So that's my viewpoint. Okay. You keep talking. Yeah.
Treated separately, then only we should take that individual basis.
Individually. Otherwise, once, if it's one act, once the contract service is fully performed, then only you can recognize.
There are costs related to machinery. Like, transportation cost, everything we can
Which one? No. See, we are talking about goods and we are talking about service. Installation is a service. Machinery is a goods. For goods, we don't worry about acts and all. For only service related thing, we bring in the concept of act. And when someone says, suppose you are my customer, you ask me to install. See, to install it, I have to do 101 things. I have to hire a labor, I have to buy material, I have to transport them. I'll do 101 things. But as far as you are concerned, what are you concerned about? Now I will tell you, I have to hire labor, I have to buy material. What will you say? Boss, install and go. What you do is your headache, right? So it will be considered as a main one act on it. It will not be split there. Okay, that. Anything else? No. Break. Sapadu. Correct? No.